Welcome to the Horror Room, everyone. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I have a special guest. I have Mr. Rick Danford, director, producer, actor, and the creator of the Indie Horror Junkie Magazine. Rick, how's it going, buddy?
It's going very well. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Hanging in there. Okay, so I understand we're on volume three of the Indie Horror Junkie Magazine. That volume
hmm
roll out September 13th. So tell my fans a little bit about your magazine.
Well, we're on issue number three, yes, and it actually issue three went live on my birthday, which was this past Saturday, July 15th. Issue number four will be live on September 13th. Yes.
Okay. And
Mhm.
so what is the vision of the of your magazine?
Well, as a horror filmmaker, I've been able to meet so many people on set, actors, actresses, other filmmakers that have come to help out. I also run a couple of film festivals, so I was able to meet other actors and actresses and filmmakers as well there and see so many films. I'm also a big reader, so I like Fangoria and Rue Morgue and everything else. I pretty much, get involved in everything and try to read about everything. But I think what happened really was that just meeting so many people and getting to experience so many talented people on set, watching their films, the different film festivals, meeting and talking to them. I really wanted to help shine a light on them. And a lot of the magazines and stuff that I get into, like the Fangorias and the Rue Morgues and those like that, for the most part, they just deal with the mainstream movies. And I mean, they'll throw a couple of interviews or pieces here on the up and coming, indie stuff like that. But there's really nothing out there that just focuses on the guy. I like to call them the blue collar horror makers. They're the ones that go to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they're making movies on the weekends and their own money and stuff like that. And those are the guys that really they don't care about getting paid. I mean, getting paid would be fantastic, but they're doing it because they love being creative. They love the genre. They love giving the fans what they want. And I want to be able to shine a light on those people. So that's kind of why I started the whole magazine.
And that's pretty amazing. I love your magazine. I'm a huge indie horror fan myself. I do like the big, but I'm a huge indie horror junkie myself. So if so I have a lot of subscribers, fans who are indie horror movie directors, actors. If they wanted to get a spotlight in your magazine, how would they go about doing that?
They would just drop us an email. We have an email address, indiehorrorjunkie@gmail.com. Send us an email, send us some pictures, maybe a couple links to what you're doing so we can get a good look at it. Because we're not only going to have stuff that we're going to feature in the magazine, but we also have the website that we're starting to fill out as well. I mean, when it started, it was just me. So I was pretty overwhelmed by it all. And now I'm getting so many requests and there's so much happening now that the magazine started to circulate. So I've brought on a couple of other writers and some other people to help me. So we definitely want to expand it and try and get it out there even more with the website and the magazine. So yeah, drop us an email and show us what you got, and we'll see what we can do.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, definitely check that out. Now, how long did it take you to get this project put together?
I put it together pretty quickly. I mean, I've been able to make the magazine on my own. The first issue came out in March, and then the last one, like I said, came out just past weekend, and then we're going to do it every 2 months. That was my plan, was because it was all myself, and I wanted to be able to have time because I'm making my own films as well, and it just kind of gets so overwhelming. But I ultimately would like to have it once a month, so that's why I've got some more writers on board, and we've got some more content coming in. We actually had, I think, like 6 pieces that we couldn't fit into the last magazine, so they rolled over to issue four. And that's kind of the way we'd like to have it. We'd like to have be a couple of magazines ahead, so we always have content. But then again, we don't want to have articles on films that are either too early or too late or something like that. We want to be able to try and show the people what's going on as it's happening.
Awesome, awesome. Now, as a horror movie director, would you say marketing is the hardest thing for a indie horror director? Is that the biggest hurdle challenge for them?
Oh no, raising money is the biggest challenge for them.
But I've
Getting
heard that.
like, yeah, I mean, unless you have a good network, I've got a couple of filmmaker friends that I know that they have set a network of friends or whatever it is. They're able to raise their money. There are some people also that are really good at doing the whole Indiegogos and the Kickstarters and stuff like that. And they've got a regular network of people that follow along, so they're able to raise a set amount. So as long as you keep the budgets reasonable, there's ways and creative ways to get it. I've always struggled getting money, my entire life, but the bottom line is that I've got a feature film out there now that I'm really excited about, and we did it for a very, very small budget. It doesn't look like it, so I'm really hoping that this is going to help open doors for future projects, and kind of that's the way it's kind of a show me, then pay me later kind of thing. So I'm hoping to take advantage of that.
Awesome, awesome. So Rick, let's jump into that. Let's talk
Sure.
about your new feature movie that you have coming out.
Okay, the movie is called The Clock, and it actually came from a concept that I had many, many years ago. When I was really young, I used to listen to those old time radio shows on the radio, and there was one that was about this clock that like was a gateway to hell. So I had always remembered that one because it was so well done. But of course, it was like a 30-minute radio show, so you didn't see anything. You just had to kind of imagine it, and it was short. So I've always kept that idea in my mind because there's been so many great radio shows with some really great ideas, and Hollywood's always about remakes and reboots and reimaginings and stuff that I don't think they've looked at all the millions and millions of horror radio shows that are out there that are, for the most part, now in the public domain. So I got that one. I went ahead and developed a whole screenplay around that concept, turned it into a feature film. We got funding for it, filmed it all locally here in Florida, and really excited about the way it came out. It's currently in post-production, but it'll be done probably by the end of this month. And we have our cast and crew screening that we have set for August 27th. And then from there, we're going to hit a few select film festivals and see what we can do with it.
Awesome, awesome. Now, distribution wise, has that been a struggle in 2023?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's so many distributors out there because, I mean, like you just say over the last 10 to 15 years, you've got 1,000,001 streaming services that are popping up everywhere. So everybody's looking for content. Everybody's trying to get, enough movies and stuff on there, enough things going on that will keep people tuned in. So there's plenty of opportunities for distribution. The problem is getting paid from those opportunities. That's a big part of what's going on with the writer's strike and everything right now, is that the streaming services are just scooping up these movies, putting them out there, selling them to countries all over the place, and they're not paying the filmmakers. So the filmmakers are really having a hard time getting the books and finding out what's making money and where is my money and getting paid. So that's really the hard part. There's probably more distributors that you have to be careful of and not deal with, as opposed to the ones that you can actually get something done with. But to me, the main thing, especially for the first one, is just getting people to see it. I want people to see it, look at it, and say, wow, this was really good. It didn't look like that was the budget you did it for. So what could this guy do with a real budget? And then hopefully something will happen there.
Awesome. So, how long have you been doing directing and producing?
Probably longer than I should. It's been quite a few years. My first film was something that I wasn't really prepared to make. My plan was to write a vampire film, and I was going to try and sell it. And then after talking to some friends of mine, they just said, hey, why don't we make this on our own? We didn't know the first thing about making movies, so we ended up hiring another team that had supposedly been producing movies, and they said they'll take care of everything behind the camera. You guys can just work with the cast in front of the camera, and we'll go from there. And that did not work out. They ended up getting fired, I think, 3 or 4 times during the production of that movie. And we learned how to make a movie while making that movie, which is never the best way to do it. But
Okay.
it's done. It's out there. I'm not ashamed of it. To me, it was film school in a bottle, that movie. But I got to work with Tom Savini. I got to work with Brink Stevens. And we got it done. And it's out on Amazon. And every great so often, I get a check from Amazon for about $1.25. But hey, I'm getting paid, brother.
So, how was it working with Tom?
It was an experience. I mean, Tom is Tom's a great guy. He really is. He puts up a hard shell in front of you sometimes because he gets approached by everybody and their mother. You can imagine being a legend like he is. But the good thing about Tom is that once he got on set, Tom was not just a guy who went in there, did his lines, and left. Tom got involved with everybody. He got to know the casting crew. He helped with watching the special effects and tutoring the effects people that we had. He helped with stunt coordinating in the fight scenes we did. He gave me information and tutorials and stuff as we would go, how he would do it and stuff. So to me, he was a delight to have on set because the guy was a walking film school, and we learned so much from him and loved having him around.
Nice guy. I'm actually planning on in this couple months going out to his school and
Yes.
actually video, and I it looks like an amazing experience.
Yeah, his school's really taken off of late. And the last time I talked to him, he said that he's sold out for like years in advance. So the school's really doing well. They even had some show on TV. I think it's called Face Off, where they have all special makeup effects artists against each other. I think like 3 out of the last 5 people were from his school. So really, really good.
I'm glad to see he's doing big things, and I just also recently found out too that George A. Romero has a school attached to the same school as his, so that's pretty cool as well.
Hmm.
And I'll definitely like to check that out. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I got to look into your most recent magazine, and I've seen that you did an advertisement for the Florida Con. And is that a convention that you're working personally with?
Yes, I've got a couple of people that I've teamed up with it. It's a brand new horror convention that's going to hit the probably the St. Pete area in 2024. We're really excited about it. We want to ultimately put together the end all horror event for Florida. We want to make it a completely immersive experience. We want people to go there, and when they're done with that weekend, they want to be able to buy the T-shirt that says "I survived the Florida Horror Con." We don't want to just make some, little experience where you go there like every other convention and get your autographs, buy your merch, and go home. No, we want people to remember what they've been through and just kind of like, wow, I can't wait to see what they do next year.
That's awesome, Rick. So, I'm pretty sure you've been to many horror conventions.
Oh yeah.
What's one thing when you were coming up with the idea for the one in Florida? What was one thing that you were like, oh, I hate that about horror conventions, and I don't want to have that in mind?
One thing. There's several different things. I mean, I've been to so many horror conventions. I've run film festivals for 20 plus years, and the last film festival I've run, which is a Halloween Horror Picture Show, has taken place at MegaCon in Orlando. I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but
I haven't.
they get 100,000 plus people there that weekend. So it's craziness. So that's beautiful because it's a lot of people, and you think each person is $60 a ticket. That's a lot of money they're banking. That's all well and good. But it's also bad because when you just try to walk the floor, whether it's to see a vendor, whether it's to go see a celebrity or whatever, you can hardly even move. It's like just a wall of people. So getting around, that's been one of the big complaints from a lot of people, is that they can't do and see the people they want or go to the vendors they want because it's just too full, because they oversell. So it's something like that, even though it's hard to say, yeah, I'd rather have a smaller convention, because then you say, well, okay, I don't want to make as much money. But we do want to make it more of a personal experience. We want people to be able to go there, and if they have a destination in mind, hey, I'm going to see this person, this person, this person, we want them to be able to go there and experience that and see that person and get those autographs and get to those merch tables and get the stuff that they want, and not just the standard merch that you see at every single event. We want to be able to bring in vendors that are going to bring stuff you don't see at every event. We're going to have escape rooms. We're going to have haunted mansions. We've got to have another film festival there. So we're going to, like I said, it's going to be an immersive experience that it's almost going to be like a cross between a horror convention and Disney World.
Wow. See, now I want to book my ticket. Now,
There you go.
now would there be a VIP option?
Yeah, we're looking into stuff like that as well. So we're putting all kinds of packages and stuff together. Right now, our number one priority is to lock down our location and the dates, which we're on the verge of doing that now. I think we're talking to a couple of hotels that we've pretty much got it down to the final ones. We're going to go ahead and select those. Once we select those, we've already been putting out feelers, and we're getting people that are reaching out to us to be special guests. We've already got vendors that have reached out to us wanting to buy tables. So all that stuff's already in place. We just can't really start, locking all that stuff down until we get the venue and the dates, which we're hoping we're going to be able to lock up in the next couple of weeks. And once we do that, all the other chips will start falling, and then it's just a matter of making some noise.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. And please hit me up personally too.
Oh, you got it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
because I will be there to film. All right. So last question I do want to ask you. Where do you see your magazine? What's your ultimate goal? Where do you see your magazine in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, like I said, when I first started it, it was pretty much just because I, I I'm the kind of person that my mind's running 100 miles an hour, and if I don't have like 8 plates in the air, then I don't know what I'm doing with myself. So I have to. I between filming my Halloween horror picture show to doing the magazine to prepping for my yard sale massacre that we're going to be filming in November to getting ready with the Florida Horror Con and everything else. It's just so many things, but that's what I enjoy. So when I started it, I really didn't have any aspirations other than the fact that this is something that I can do during that small downtime that I have to get the word out there, because I also use the magazine to promote my own movies as well as shining lights on other people's movies. So it's a good marketing tool. But now that the magazine's gotten out there, now that it's starting to filter around, now that people are reading it and replying to it and reaching out to me, I've actually got about 8 people that are going to be helping me write articles for it. I've got sponsors that are looking at buying ad space. So ultimately, what I would like to see happen to it is it to turn into like a really nice looking magazine with some great articles and interviewing some people that people really want to read about. And ultimately, I'd like to get it to a point where we can make enough sponsorship money to be able to print and send it and have it in places like Barnes and Noble and the other shops, and be able to bring in and have a table at Florida Horror Con selling it and stuff to get it out to the people. It's not about me making the money back or making money on that, but it's about just having that many more opportunities to get it in more people's hands.
And like you said, like even with my channel, I like to put a spotlight on, you know, indie horror directors or even art vendors. I like to put a spotlight on them because,
Yes.
even when you go to a horror convention, I say this all the time. I love vendors, but a lot
Yes.
of them, when you go to a horror convention, the majority of the spotlight is put on to the guests, which there's nothing wrong with. I love the guests, but
Mhm.
a lot of the vendors suffer for that, and a lot of them have excellent, excellent stuff, and
Yes.
it's an afterthought by the time you get done standing in those 2 hour lines. So it's great that you're doing this and keep doing the great work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And how can everyone who's watching, how can they find you?
Well, you can get the magazine at indiehorrorjunkie.com. If you go there, the magazine is right on the front page. Just click on the cover of the issue and you can download it free right now with a PDF version. We have the 3 issues up there. I also have a horror podcast myself called No Sleep Tonight Horror Radio that you can get from No Sleep Tonight Radio, No Sleep Tonight Horror Radio Show.com. I have about 7 episodes up there. I started that thing when the pandemic hit and all production was shut down. I was driving myself crazy sitting at home alone. So I created it myself, wrote the scripts, sent them off, got actors and actresses to record their lines on their phones or on their computers, send it to me. I edited them together and put it out there, and some of them are pretty good. I like them, but they were a lot of fun to make. Then you can also see my movie The Clock. Well, you can see the trailer for it that we just released at www.theclockmovie.com. And like I said, that'll be coming out at the end of August. And I also have my Halloween fan film that we're doing, chapter 2 and chapter 3, that'll be released this October. You can go to HalloweenDeathWalksAmongUs.com. You can see the first film that we released last Halloween and read up and see some stills for the 2 sequels that we have that we're in the middle of filming right now.
Sweet, sweet. Guys, definitely check them out. All the indie horror directors who follow me, definitely hit up Rick as well.
Please do.
It was a pleasure. Continue doing what you're doing. I'm going to see you next year in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Sounds
St. Pete.
great.
Um, and I think the Rays play out there too, right?
Yeah, the Rays are in St. Pete right now. Yeah, the Trop.
So I'm gonna hopefully it's during baseball season. I'm a baseball fan, so I'm gonna go out there and kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
There
But
you
yeah,
go.
I will definitely be out there. Guys, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I am Travis Bruce. If you like this video, please hit that like and that subscribe button. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Take care.